Well, there's some pretty funny stories. I did an early Paul McCartney Wings tour, and that was kind of interesting. And it was not a successful tour. It was a British tour, and we were plagued with technical problems throughout. It was the days when we would get buzz in the PA from guitar pickups, and it was really hard to get rid of all that stuff. So we get to the final dates, and we're playing Hammersmith Odeon, as it was then, which is one of the great venues in London. And Sir Paul, in a meeting, decides one night that he wants the whole auditorium swathed in red velour cloth, swathed like an Arabian palace, so that the velour would come from upstage, all the way through the proscenium up to the balconies and whatever, in violation of all codes, in violation of everything. And so the production manager and myself and Brian, who ran the lighting company, and we had a set designer. The set designer is, incidentally, his brief from Paul was to design a set that didn't look like a set. So that was the kind of, so as the time approaches for this huge final show in Hammersmith, which could potentially save our reputation, which was at a low point at this point, we cannot figure a way how to tell Sir Paul that this is impossible. And so we go to his close personal roadie, who's a guy called Trevor at the time, who we think is long since gone. And we said, Trevor, what are we going to do? Trevor says, don't do anything. And we go, are you kidding? We're 4 days from the show. And he says, well, here's what you don't do. Do not tell Paul that it's impossible. Do not tell Paul that it costs too much money, because neither of those things work. The best thing we can all hope for is that it will all just go away and he'll forget about it. And I go, that's a huge risk. And he said, it's your only choice. So that's what we did. The show came, the rehearsals went fine, and he'd completely forgotten about it, which was great. The other great experience I had was with the late Patrick Stansfield. We were doing a Bob Dylan tour, and we got to Paris. And we were walking through, and Bob walks in for the sound check, and we're playing the old abattoir in Paris, the disused slaughterhouse. And the whole is like Swiss cheese. And so sunlight comes through the roof in these beautiful, beautiful collimated white shafts of light. And Bob walks in and he goes, Patrick, that's what I want. That's what I want for the show. And Patrick says, it's going to be hard to do that at night, Bob. And Bob looks at him and he goes, Patrick, what am I paying you for? There was just other good things like that.
That's fantastic.
Some of my best experiences were actually on Patrick Stansfield's tour, because he came up with the really creative idea to tour Europe by train. And we did that 3 times. We did it twice with Neil Diamond. And so you basically rent the back end of a train, and you do it, you start in London, and you take it all the way through to Scandinavia, to Stockholm, and you hook your train onto a commercial train. So you own, for the period of the tour, you own 6 carriages. You own the presidential car for Neil, which was the French president's car. Then you have 2 cars for the band. You have another 2 for the crew, and you have 1 for the baggage, which on a Neil Diamond tour is not insubstantial. The trick is that the train runs on train times. The train runs on the German or the French schedule. So when it pulls up at the station, you just need a team of guys unloading the baggage car, and the same when it goes in. Because in Germany, if the train's going to stop for 3 minutes, it's going to stop for 3 minutes. It's not going to stop for a bunch of rock and roll people. But it was great, because it was the most relaxing and best way to travel.